Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
All right, guys, we're back in my garage for another episode of the B58 Digest. If you're new to the channel, I use these videos to help keep you updated on the latest developments in the B58 community. So if that's something that you're interested in, be sure to subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot more of these videos coming out in the future. So today we're going to be talking about a new turbo kit that kind of silently hit the market. CTS Turbo has posted their new turbo kit on their page, and it's pretty exciting to see because this has been something that's been in development for a really long time. They do have a little bit of a unique way that they went about this. So the turbo is going to fit in the stock location. It's going to work with your stock intake, downpipe, charge pipe. So basically all of the bolt-ons that you have on your stock turbo can be reused with this turbo kit. And what they're doing is basically adapting a GTX 3582 turbo with stock location hardware. So they developed a new cast manifold as well as a new exhaust housing and compressor housing. And then they're reusing the wheel design from a GTX 3582. And if you actually look at these two side by side with an actual Garrett turbo, you can see the blade design is pretty much the exact same thing. Now, the good news about this is you kind of eliminate the restrictions that come with typical hybrid turbos. So when you're using the stock exhaust housing, you're going to have a limited amount of airflow, and that will basically limit how much horsepower the turbo can make. In this situation, they've got a larger flowing exhaust housing that will allow you to make a lot more power. So really it's not a hybrid turbo, but they are putting it in the stock location so that it can install just like a hybrid. So this is really cool for a couple reasons. Obviously the Garrett turbo design is very well known and proven. It's rated for 900 horsepower, so you can do a lot of stuff with that, of course. And also being able to use all the stock location components means, like, for example, if you're somewhere that has a lot of strict emissions laws and things like that, you can literally bolt on the stock downpipe, the stock intake, all the stock hardware, take it in for emissions testing, and then go back home and reinstall all your aftermarket parts. So it's going to be a nice, slick setup for people that want to go the extra mile to keep it discreet. Now let's talk about the history a little bit, because there's actually more to this story about how the turbo came to market. For anybody that's been paying attention, you saw that the first pictures were shown back in early 2020 in January. They showed that they were starting to 3D print designs and test fitment just so that they could verify clearances and see what kind of restrictions they would have to work around. They showed the 2-port version first, and then a couple months later, they showed the 6-port version showing that they were working on both. This was before a lot of the items that are common now were widely available. You know, especially with the Supras, a lot of guys were just starting to test out the pure turbos and different hybrid options, and we were still waiting for a lot of the true aftermarket options to come to market. So that looked like a really nice one that was going to come soon. However, for about a year, we really didn't hear anything, and then eventually it came back to market with new announcements that they had partnered with Titan Motorsports, and they were testing the turbo on one of Titan's customers' cars. So they did a dyno run with the turbo, and it actually hit 879 wheel horsepower on a dyno jet. So obviously really impressive. I think that's higher than any dyno I've seen with a hybrid turbo. This was no nitrous, stock engine. It did have a built transmission as well as an aftermarket EOS intercooler and port injection running E75 fuel. So a good solid setup, pretty typical, nothing crazy. You know, it didn't have race gas or anything, but still a lot of power for the stock engine. So again, this made a lot of noise. Everybody was really excited to see this kind of performance, but unfortunately, that car ended up getting in a pretty bad accident and got totaled, and development kind of stalled out again. So we've been waiting for a while, and I honestly thought that the project kind of got abandoned, but it seemed like they were mostly facing supply chain issues, and now they finally got all of the components for it to come out to the market. So you can see what the final kit looks like with the turbo, manifold, and aftermarket lines for the oil and coolant lines. So pretty simple setup, should be pretty easy to install. Now the really good news is we don't just have a dyno figure, we have actual performance numbers from a drag strip as well. And these were actually done at TX2K. So little did we know, after Titan's original test car got in an accident, they ended up working with another customer and they installed it on his car. He ran it at TX2K and he won. So this was on Anthony Mole's car. A lot of us didn't realize that he had that on his car. I thought that he still had the Pure 850 on there. But while he was doing the whole rebuild and prep for TX2K, he ended up installing that turbo right before TX2K as well. So the turbo has actually made a name for itself before it was even on the market, beating out a lot of really fast cars to win the trophy. So I just think that's really cool to see, how much development was going on in the background. It makes me feel more comfortable recommending this turbo to people. We still, of course, need to get more time with it out in the field and get more customer feedback, but it seems like a really tried and true setup that should do really well with other customers. So yeah, I just wanted to share this information with you guys since, again, it was launched really quietly. It's on CTS's website, but it shows out of stock because it is only sold through Titan Motorsports currently. So reach out to Titan Motorsports and they can hook you up with selling you the turbo kit if that's something that you want to try out. All of the links will be down in the description if you want to check out more information. And yeah, good luck to everybody that decides to go that route. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.